Full Mental Alchemy, the art of self-mastery through power, love, and a sound mind. The beginning of understanding, or coming to the conclusion of what you should know, comes from you realizing just how much you don't know. When it comes down to full mental alchemy, you have to come to the grandiose conclusion that you are insufficient, that you have full grasp as to your own skin or to the body in which you walk, the operation of your own most simplest functionalities. For example, this is the beginning of full mental alchemy, realizing that through sight we see, through hearing we hear, through sound we speak. You understand me? Through scent we smell. Okay? Or fragrance. Through fragrance we smell, and through feeling we touch. You have to understand that when you think of your entire body, the anatomy, the wiring, I'm not talking about the hip bone connected to the thigh bone and things of that nature. No, what I'm really trying to get you to grasp when it comes down to full mental alchemy is functionality. You hear me? When it comes down to how things function, you can uncover so many secrets just by observing how a thing works. Okay? This is the understanding, the beginning of your understanding when it comes down to full mental alchemy. Okay? I need you to think about it. I'm only going to do a few because the book is coming soon. Okay? The book written, Full Mental Alchemy, is coming soon, where it dissects and vamps together so many different things that we on the daily do not notice. Or if we do notice, we haven't yet put to words. But through the eye of the full mental alchemist, you all will be able to see the things that you don't readily see every day. To hear and know and conceive the ideas, the thought that you have readily understood and captivated throughout every single moment in which you use your functions and you live. Okay? For example, when you think about it, hearing sound itself is simply a vibration at a certain frequency, okay? That's all sound is. If it had no structure to it, because that's what the tongue does. The tongue structures sound for us so that it can make a specific pitch or tone or quickness or longness, okay? It can be short, it can be long, it can be high, it can be low. All of these things are created through the functionality of the mouth. Okay? When you understand things like this, then you start to look deeper into these functions. Okay? And ultimately, here's the thing that you need to realize is the structure as to where all of these functions begin in their process. Okay? Where do all of these things begin their process? Do we control them or do we not control them? In other words, have we been given full control over the processes that our bodies use to function? Have we been given full control? And if we have not, can we obtain full control? And if we can or cannot, what of it? When it comes down to full mental alchemy, understanding you is the first process the first step to mastering you. Okay? Understanding you is the first process, the first step to mastering you. So how do I master something I do not fully understand? How can I possibly master something that I haven't fully yet grasped? Each day we wake up and we don't think, the hearing comes from sound, and the sound, where does the sound go? Where does it come from? Where does it go? And when it does go, how am I able to perceive it? How am I able to receive that vibration? Is there any other way to perceive vibration if it were not for the ears? Okay? And even if you perceive vibration through feeling or the sense of touch, Okay? Even still, that vibration had to have a motion in order for you, some type of something that happened in your external world in order for you to understand it. But when it comes down to the full mental alchemist, okay, the full mental alchemist understand this key. I'll say not understand, but the full mental alchemist has a key image of what the body should be in his or her mind. Okay, when it comes down to it, what do you mean when you say the full image? They know where all things began. Okay, and as far my understanding is concerned, all things began with a single thought. Okay, everything begins with a single thought. All the wiring that we need, all the processes that we need start off with a single thought. Okay, and then that thought is made into reality through motion. Okay, and then once that motion has created the reality that we see, it becomes a tangible thing. Okay, and then as a tangible thing, we can make use of it. Okay, we can make use of it even if it were not a tangible thing, but an idea we can definitely make use of. But all things begin non-existent before it becomes existent. This is the nature of every single thing. It all begins with a single idea or a single thought. And the full mental alchemist understands this. Okay? The full mental alchemist understands this. So, because you understand that thought is the beginning process of everything that we are, you begin to work on your concentration, on your focus, on your thought, on your mental processing, how swift and how slow it takes for you to process something mentally. Do you have enough information stored in your mind in order to make use of these things? Because the mind makes use of information. Okay? The mind exists within us, and it can make use of nothing more but then to make use of information. Okay? And now the structure goes a little bit further when you realize that the senses, the 5 senses, for some 6, and I'll get into another day as to what that 6th sense is. Okay? But when it comes down to the 5 senses, the primary senses that we use, okay, which they're even a plethora of senses, way more than 6, the sense of space and time and things of that nature. But we're not going to get into that a little bit more scientifically. We're going to talk about the 5 senses, okay, and the structure that pertains to these 5 senses. They have, in a sense, a creation on such a wise that each sense it receives and immediately makes a delivery to the mind. Okay? My ears receive information, and it immediately, upon receiving that information, without respect of persons, without question, without wavering, oh, I don't want to hear this or I don't want to hear that, it immediately, whatever it passes in front of the ears, or whatever passes in front of the eyes, this information, without any aid, simply performs a function where it sends that information directly to the mind. Okay? Without regard to, you can't tell it stop. The only way you can stop it is by, one, plugging it up, or if you can't plug it up, chopping it off. Okay? And we don't want to do the latter, but all I'm saying is that the only way to disconnect yourself from that function is to be born with a complete stop on that function, or to simply just disconnect yourself from that function altogether. But as long as your mind is connected to the function, then that function is going to operate, and it's going to send information to the brain, to the mind, regardless, without your aid or without your help. You can do nothing to stop it. Okay, but what you can do, which is the function of the mind, is that you can regulate it and choose to find out and choose to, in a sense, store it in a place. Okay, this is good. We're going to store it in my good place. This is bad. I'm going to store it in my bad place. But when you talk about the mind and the senses working together, which one dominates the other? Okay, which one regulates and should regulate or should rule the other. Okay. Now, here's the thing. And this is where we get a lot of things mixed up. Okay. Between them that are capable of seeing exactly what's going on. Okay, with themselves. Okay, there are people that can look in the mirror, can't tell you a lick of the person that they see. But then there are others who can look in the mirror, can describe their every single blemish or perfect anatomy or structure. Okay, there's symmetric symmetrism. They can actually symmetricism. I guess they can literally put that thing together and describe themselves to you. But then there are those who you all need to realize that when you can't describe what you do, how you do it, okay, who should head who or lead who? You know, in other words, should the mind lead the senses, or should the senses, in other words, in archaic times that they're known as the passions, okay? Can your passions, okay, your desires, can your senses, in a sense, what you desire, should that have predominance over your mind? Okay? And the full mental alchemist knows that should not be the case. Okay? In fact, it should be the mind that rules over the desires or the senses. Okay? And when you put this prospect or this structure, in a sense, and when you put this structure in place, you find out that your mind begins to rule over, okay, as a kingdom, because your mind is king, or your spirit is king, okay, over your entire body, okay. But then you get to all of these senses or whatever have you, which are electrical, okay, and then you get to all of your emotions, which are chemical, okay. And then you try to somehow cause these things to actually produce a work through your body. Okay? The body is meant to interpret, or I'll say this. The body is meant to interpret what's in the mind and make what's in the mind a reality. Okay? The senses are only meant to send the mind information so that the mind can use that information to its benefit. Okay? And what you feed your senses is exactly what your mind starts to become. Okay? Because your mind needs to eat just as well as your body. Your flesh needs to eat as well. Okay? And what your mind should eat is intellectual information, scientific information, things that deal with right information, so that your mind can make use of the information that you're sending it, or that you're allowing it to receive. Okay, when I say allow, this is what I mean. You go to the store and you buy specific books catered to specific topics that give you specific information to help you do a specific task. Deliberate. Okay, you take charge of what you receive. Okay, now in the book, I go over each and every single sense. Okay, and explain to you the function and relate to you each and every single function, so that you can get the understanding, okay, of these functions as it relates to the full mental alchemist. Okay, so here's what I need you to do. Okay, I need you to take your time, sit down and think. Look at yourself and you say to yourself, wait a minute, here's a decision I'm going to make. And I desire to have this or that, cookies and cake or vegetables. And you know one is healthy for you and the other is not. Okay? And out of your choice, you consciously, the mind itself, the reason within you, makes a conscious decision to choose which it wants to have. This is full mental alchemy. You making a choice, you choosing to be what you want to be. Okay? This, in a sense, is full mental alchemy. Am I afraid in this moment, or am I full of courage in this moment? Will I fight in this moment, or will I flight in this moment? Okay? Will I do what's right in this moment, or will I do what's wrong in this moment? Will I succeed, or will I fail? You have the choice to choose that, because what happens is if your mind is in sync with your emotions, is in sync with your senses, is in sync with your body, if all of these things are one and they do what you choose in your mind to do, then you will achieve that and nothing can stop you. This is the full mental alchemy. This is power. This is love. You understand me? And this is full self-control over your own body, over your own self, so that you can succeed. We're struggling out here. You understand me? We're out here simply struggling just to master our senses, insatiated by the belly, okay? Overpowered by the ears, okay? Sweet sounds of music that make no sense and that benefit us in no single way. But yet when it comes down to reading that book that we need to read to get ahead, we fall asleep quickly. Okay? When it comes down to getting that information, eating that right food and doing the things that best benefit our body so that it can work on behalf of us the correct way, we fall short of doing these things because we're in here struggling between who should be the leader. It's only two things that tend to lead us. It could be your own mind when you listen to that sweet spirit on the inside of you that says, this is the right thing to do. I'm going to do it, period. No questions asked. As opposed to your senses that just all your senses want to do is receive, take, consume. That's all the senses want to do. Consume and then pass it along immediately. And all your eyes want to do is consume the most beautiful sight. Your ears wants to do nothing but hear the most sweetest of sounds. You understand me? And your feelings want to feel all the most exotic feelings that you can. You understand? The senses can run wild. They can run rampant. And all you have to do is stop, pause, give a little thought to it, and then make the right, most beneficial and best conscious decision. Full mental alchemy, the art of self-mastery through power, love, and self-control. Thank you. Please hit the like, share, and also don't forget, subscribe. If you want to know the newest information that comes out, subscribe. All right, stay tuned.